Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Secret of Seven Chakras and Third Eye, Sadhguru. So, hidden truths about the seven chakras. So anyways, this looked interesting, so I thought I'd give this a shot. Let's go ahead and give this video a chance.
The longing to break away is in Vishuddhi, Agna and Sahasrara. If energies move into Vishuddhi, you can become enormously powerful. If energies move into Sahasrara, simply you're ecstatic. Agna is called as the third eye. Once your energies touch Agna, you are intellectually realized. Third eye has been elaborately established as an energy form.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I started meditating 10 years ago, and after a few years, I could see my third eye, a perfect eyeball. Is it real or am I hallucinating?
Now, this needs to be understood. What is referred to as a third eye is not necessarily another eye like this. Okay, it is not. It is just that, you know, there are, okay. In the pranic system, we talked about the 72,000 nadis. These 72,000 nadis have 114 important junction points in the body. Like, you know, in this building, the electrical systems are running, there are many junction points where major meeting of connections are happening. There are 114 junction points in the body. Generally, these are referred to as chakras. The word chakra literally means a wheel. But these are not in the form of circles or wheels. They always meet in the form of a triangle. The nadis always meet in the form of a triangle. And the whole yogic system depends on what you do with them. So out of this 114, 7 are held as the major junction points. So these are the 7 chakras that everybody's normally talking about. They are located in certain parts of your body. These are Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agna, Sahasrara. Mooladhara means the foundation. This is a center which is physically or physiologically, it is located between your anal outlet and your genital organ. It's called the perineum medically. If your energies are dominant in your Mooladhara, food and sleep will be the 2 major qualities of your life. They will be the most important factors in your life, food and sleep. If your energies are dominant in your Swadhisthana, which is located just above your genital organ, here you will be a pleasure seeker. Pleasure does not necessarily mean sex and things like that. You are somebody who wants to enjoy the world. That's dominant in you. So a person who is a pleasure seeker, he lives little more intensely than a person who is living just for food and sleep. Yes? So these are just different levels of intensities of life. As the intensity increases, your ability to experience different dimensions of life moves from one area of life to another. If your energies move into Manipuraka, or if they're more dominant in Manipuraka, you are a doer in the world. You want to do things. Maybe you're a businessman, maybe you're a politician or something where a lot of doing is needed, you know. You're a doer. If energies move into Anahata, this is the creative center, you become a creative person. Maybe you're an artist or at least you have tendencies, maybe you didn't make it in the Hollywood, but you know, you want to create more than simply eating and sleeping or seeking pleasure outside. You would like to do something. There is creativity in you. A person, let's say an artist, generally their lives may be considered a little freaky for other people, but They experience life little more intensely than, let's say, a businessman. Yes? It's a different level of intensity. The word anahata means unstruck. This is the unstruck sound. This is a meeting between the lower and the higher. All your survival instincts are in the lower three chakras. Self-preservation is in Manipuraka, Swadhisthana and Muladhara. The longing to break away from all this and go away beyond is in Vishuddhi, Agna and Sahasrara. Anahata is the meeting point. So anahata, the symbolism is two triangles meeting. You've seen that the Star of David, everything comes from anahata. Okay, that is the symbol for anahata, two upward moving and downward moving triangles meeting because these are two different dimensions of life. One is catering to self-preservation, another is catering to the longing to go beyond. In your head and your heart, you have longings to go beyond, but in your body, you have longings to preserve. So, if energies move into Vishuddhi, it's a power center, you can become enormously powerful. Very powerful individuals. When I say power, not necessarily physical or financial or something, people can be powerful in so many ways. Just the very way they stand, some people are powerful, some people are not, isn't it? Yes? You don't have to do any action. You make 10 men stand here. The very way they stand, some men are powerful, some aren't, isn't it so? It's not necessarily because of their activity, just the way they are. They don't have to pose for anything, just simply the way they are, there is power about them. If your energies move into Agna, you are intellectually realized, you see things clearly, you see everything the way it is. Once you begin to see everything the way it is, you are at peace. So Agna is called as the third eye because you see things the way they are. With these two eyes are very deceptive. They make you see things the way it is necessary for your survival. They don't allow you to see everything the way it is. Once your energies touch Agna, now you're seeing things the way they are, everything the way it is. Now, that is why it is referred to as a third eye. Sahasrara is the seventh chakra that is not in the body, just outside the body. But most people, it is dormant, it is not active. If some sadhana comes into your life, if you activate it in a certain way, or because of a very intense way of living, it can become active. If energies move into Sahasrara, you will become unexplainably, unreasonably ecstatic. Simply like crazy, you're ecstatic. If you come to the Bhava Spandana, you will see, simply for no reason, you will be spilling in ecstasy. You just don't know what's happening, just no external reason. Simply you're ecstatic, simply because your energies touch Sahasrara. From Mooladhara to Agna, there are many pathways as to how to get there, any number of methods and teachings as to how to reach there. From Agna to Sahasrara, there is no path. If you want to move from Agna to Sahasrara, because there is no path, that is the reason why many people have gone about propagating peace is the highest thing to achieve, because they got stuck here. So from Agna to Sahasrara, there is no pathway. This is the fundamental reason why there is so much stress on a guru in the traditions, because if you have to jump, suppose there is here a black hole, if you have to just jump into it, you must be utterly crazy. Or you must have extraordinary kind of courage, or you must trust somebody so much that if he says jump, without any problem you will jump. Otherwise, there's no possibility, isn't it? Because that possibility is not there for many people, that's the reason why they have concluded peace is the ultimate thing, because they got stuck here. They wouldn't go up. About seeing a form of an eye is simply because certain systems of practices made a whole imagery about it. These images were not just drawn on paper, they established forms of it. This is a whole science by itself. In India, this is called as the science of consecration. In the yogic traditions, this science of consecration can be taken to such peaks. Any form you want, you can consecrate it and make it a reality. Right now, let us say I want a fierce dragon established energy-wise. Now, I will establish a temple for a dragon. And if you go there, you have a deep experience of the dragon because the energy form of the dragon is like alive, like a real thing. Because the science of consecration is such, any form that you want, you can consecrate it and make the energy hold that form. So deities were created for different purposes, whichever kind of form they wanted, they created it. So like this, people created different kinds of imagery for the sake of sadhana, so that people could make use of it. It is not that that's the way you have it, but it has been established in many traditions. Third eye has been elaborately established as an energy form. If you happen to come in touch with this somewhere, you may begin to see it. But these are two different kinds of yoga. There is something called as right-hand yoga and left-hand yoga. In the right-hand yoga, there is no imagery. Right now, what we are offering to you is that, no imagery. We don't use any kind of imagination. Because once you go on imagination, you must be in constant care of somebody who knows what is what. Somebody who is capable of taking away the images when it is no more needed. Otherwise, you won't know where is reality and where is imagination. You will just fly off into imaginary states very easily. So here we are using a path of prajna where there is no imagery at all. Just use yourself to grow.
Okay, sorry. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I'll let him finish.
Maybe it is not as colorful as that, but it's more steady. You don't get lost. You know, if you take a step forward, you know it. If you take a step backward, you know it. There you will not know, but it's very colorful and exuberant ways. We also do that, but not with, large groups of people like this. I also very much do those kind of things, but not with large groups of people, because people will fly off into imaginary states so easily.
Okay. And I didn't really pause it at all, essentially, just because I know nothing necessarily too much about these things. I didn't realize the I'll say it in my words. The 114 states has 7 major junction points. I remember Sadhguru talking about the 114 states, but 2 of those states are outside the body, and the 112 ones are inside. I know Sadhguru talked about how Buddha is a master of one of those states, and it's really interesting. I know a lot of people consider Buddha to be enlightened, but he only mastered 1 out of 114 or 112, depending if he can master those 2 outside. I do wonder if Swami Sarabhiyananda or Swami Taratmananda will confirm about these 114 states and 7 chakras. Because I don't know if they've talked about this. And it's very interesting that the 3 basic chakras that are in belly and below, survival, I mean, that thing kind of makes sense. And then as you become more intricate and stuff, you activate higher levels of life, in a sense. So I'm guessing there's not in the middle. When I was thinking, how is these things formed? There's 3 in the bottom for the triangle. There's 3 in the top for the triangle, and then there's that last one at the very top, I believe, not in the middle like I was thinking. and the top one was it starts with an S. I can't remember the name of it. Sahasra, I believe. And the question the guy said at the very beginning, he started to see this eye, like he formulated it, and I could see that as being something like being brainwashed a little bit, in the sense that obviously whenever they say the third eye, you see the images of the third eye, which is right at the center of the eye. So they're in a sense brainwashed into believing that is what it is. Now it's a metaphor, of course, but you always see it depicting as a physical eye. Even though I don't believe it meant to be a physical eye, like Sadhguru was saying, it's not an actual eye, but it's because you see the world for what it is, and the only way to translate that is by the obvious thing that we have, that we see the world in. Also, it's very interesting. Sadhguru said here that these two eye lies to us. I disagree a little bit, but actually I understand what he's talking about. These eyes see the world as they see it. They don't see it one way or another, but it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit deeper than that. As in, it's not just as simple as the eye seeing. I do believe he means, like, obviously that when we see the world, we see with our eyes, but our brain translates it to what we want it to see, what we want to see through the survival instincts, because that's how our brain processes information. So I understand when he means that these eyes are lying, that our senses don't necessarily lie. It's just our brain is what really is lying to us, because it's what gets the information and translates for us to understand. And the third eye is kind of like this idea that where your brain is not lying to you anymore. So what you see with your eyes and your senses aren't lying, in a sense. That's how I interpret what he means by that. So it's not necessarily disagree. It's just the explanation, in my opinion, I think it's meant to be like that, where our eyes, our senses aren't lying. It's just our brain are translating it to survival instincts, meaning that if anything can be perceived as a threat, it will perceive it that way as the safest way to perceive it, even though it might not be a threat at all. The great example that's being used would be Swami Sarvapriyananda about the snake and the rope. Excuse me, sorry. Where, I mean, you see a snake, you're gonna jump back and like, oh my gosh, because if it is in fact a snake, you jumping back is a good thing because you increase your survival chance. Even though, mind you, the snake and the rope is a little bit different of an example, but it works with this one. As in, the eyes are lying to you. Even though it's actually a rope and you realize, oh, it's a rope, it would have never killed me in the first place. But your brain will try to perceive anything that's a threat to your life, your survivability. Whereas the third eye won't see things that way. As in, you'll see things for what they actually are. Obviously, a snake is not... It's not sin or wanting to kill you, but if it perceives you as a threat, again, it acts on its own survivability. It will do something about it. If it will try to get away first, generally speaking, or if it can't get away, then it will attack. So I do believe that's what perhaps the third eye is seeing the world for what it is. And I'm sure there is more to it than just that. But again, I have not really delved into chakras and the third eye very much. I wonder if the other swamis and gurus talk about this. Anyways, I know Swami Taratmananda talked about Kundalini, which dealt with the 7 chakras, I believe. Although I reacted to that video, I wasn't too sure how to take that, honestly. I know Sadhguru here talks about, people should not do Kundalini because it's very dangerous. At least not unless you have a professional with you that's done it before. But yeah. So anyway, I didn't really get to talk to very much. I kind of waited until the end because I really didn't have much to say. I guess it's up until the end now. So anyway, it's my reaction to the secret of the 7 chakras and the third eye. I wouldn't mind probably learning a little bit more about the third eye and understanding what it truly means overall. Obviously, seeing the world for what it is, but what is the world for what it is based on the third eye? How should we be seeing the world? I don't know if that's I don't know if that's in relation to Advaita Vedanta as well, as in how the world is perceived in Advaita Vedanta as everything is consciousness is, or everything is consciousness. And if it's not consciousness, it doesn't exist. Or is it Samyasa, I believe, where there is two realities. There is consciousness and in the material world. I can't remember where that can't remember what that thing was. I wrote it down somewhere. So that's my reaction to this. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, the sign down below. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next vid.